Naked Mindfulness with Rishav Kharel.
Namaste and welcome back to Naked Mindfulness, a space where we explore raw, honest conversation about the mind and human experience, and deeper truths of life through the lens of awareness and wisdom. Today's episode is not just about spirituality, it's about what it truly means to be a human, to feel, to struggle, to question, and to grow. We are deeply honored and feel lucky to have Dilgo Khyentse Yangsi Rinpoche, a spiritual leader who brings not just deep wisdom, but also a very honest and human perspective on life. Welcome to the podcast, Rinpoche. हजुर यति बिजी हुँदा पनि यहाँ आइदिनु भयो, हामी धेरै कृतज्ञ छौँ।
So, के भन्छ आज हामी यता नेपाल बुद्धिस्ट टिभी अफिसमा Rishav Kharel, thank you so much for inviting me. मेरो नेपाली चाहिँ त्यति राम्रो छैन, so I will mix Nepali and English. I hope you don't mind, and I hope the viewers don't mind. And also same time, all our Nepal Buddhist TV को members are सबैलाई thank you भन्न चाहन्छु, किनभने all of you are also disciples of Choja Rinpoche, and Choja Rinpoche is a disciple of Shamar Rinpoche, who I am personally very connected to, and my late father Tsegi Chonla Rinpoche was very connected to, very close with Shamar Rinpoche. So it's a very wonderful situation, I must say, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
It's our pleasure. अहिले हजुर कसरी भन्नाले केमा बिजी हुनुहुन्छ अहिले हजुर?
अहिले चाहिँ mainly I would not say के भन्छ busy हुन्छ, किनभने I always feel it's very uncomfortable and rude, you know, like from my perspective to say I'm busy. My father used to always tell me, late father used to always say, never tell people you're busy. Just tell people you have something to do. Tell them what you're doing. If not, just say that I'm just in my room. Because I like that idea that हामी मान्छे हो, सबै नै मान्छे हो, मान्छेको मनबाट के भन्छ, to give time for each other, to open your doors for anyone, and to give opportunity to anyone, and treat everyone equally with respect and care. It's sabbanda most important. So that's why nowadays I'm just mostly focused on my own practice, my Dharma Shiksha ko practice, meditation aru, and then I'm just now doing a small movie in Patan. It is a crazy idea. It's just kind of popped up in my mind. And I've asked my friends, close friends, to help me with this. Very low budget. No professionalism in this. Everyone is just normal people, most of my friends. So the movie is called Karuna Maya. I wanted to highlight in the 1980s, in the olden day time, family values, our Nepali culture, family value, and the simplicity and integrity that we have. And in the past, I believe that it was more emphasized, since we were not influenced and corrupted by modern technology and human greed. Because those days, I feel people were very content with what they had. Yeah, so I wanted to highlight that. Yeah.
We hope success for that project.
Thank you so much.
आज हजुरलाई सोध्नुपर्ने कुरा त धेरै छ, कहाँबाट सुरु गर्ने पनि थाहा छैन मलाई अहिले जस्तो भइरहेछ होइन। तर मलाई सुरु गर्न मन लागेको चाहिँ जस्तै बियोन्ड all the titles and responsibilities, who are you as a human being today?
Basic point, I think I would say, I'm just a human being, trying my very best to only do two things. I always like to tell myself, basically, हामी के भन्छ, लाइफमा चोइस चाहिँ धेरै छ, तर चोइसको डिसिसन गर्नेको टाइममा राम्रोसँग गरिदिनुस्. So there's no regrets later. So my life wish and want is only two. As a human, I want to be the best version of a human. And in the Dharma Shiksha, and Dharma meditation department, I wish and want to do my best to practice, receive teaching, practice and meditate. These are the only two. And as a person, I would say I am very direct with myself, and I also appreciate other people being direct to me. I would say that I'm also a little bit sometimes a complex thinker and a deep thinker, and I always express whatever I have in my mind. So this is what I would describe of myself. Yeah.
I just wanted to know that what does a normal day in your life look like, mentally, emotionally and spiritually? And you किन सोधेको भन्दाखेरि धेरै so people they think that Rinpoche guru practitioner भएपछि they should always be peaceful. So त्यो पक्षबाट I just want to know.
Yes. So एको कुरा चाहिँ अलिकति सेन्सिटिभ छ किनभने बेसिकली Rinpoche भन्दाखेरि Rinpoche मान्छे नै हो. So as being a manchi, there's always going to be human tendencies, human habits, human greed, and human emotions. So it's like, I would say, there are many, the truth is there are many Rinpoches that who have the title and name of Rinpoche, that are, as a human, may not be the best people. I don't want to judge, but that is a reality and truth, because at the end of the day, they are all humans. It is their choice to be a genuine human being or not a genuine human being. And but from all of these Rinpoches, I would say quite a number of handful of Rinpoches, I would say, extremely authentic. I was very lucky in my lifetime to meet such authentic, genuine Rinpoches and genuine gurus, genuine yogis. So this is what I would say. But my life situation is quite simple. I try my best to wake up around maybe 5 o'clock, 5 baji utnu parcha. So I get up, shower and do my meditation practice. Morning ko practice, morning ko prayer. After that, then make my own coffee and tea, green tea, and then my day goes on. I have to meet people. People will come locally, Nepali people, Sherpas, Tamangs, Dolpas, Newars, and then sometime maybe Westerners. Whatever they ask, then I do my best to fulfill that wish for them. I don't see that of myself as such a great like Bhagwan, but I see that as an opportunity at least to contribute a small amount of my effort in the society in the best way possible. And then of course I have my evening Mahakal ko puja and Dharma protector ko puja garnu parcha. That will be around 6 p.m. Then after that I like to watch some documentaries and maybe some interesting movies that I like, and then sleep. Yes.
So that's what spiritual, daily life look like. Not in a theory.
Yes,
it's a practical.
Practical, simply practical.
So you have walked a unique path. So I was very curious to know that you have experienced both the monastic life and more independent yogi path. So what is the real difference between the two of the life?
So Rishav, it's like this. Kevansa, गुम्बामा बस्दाखेरि गुम्बाको कार्यक्रमहरू सिचुएसनहरू धेरै फरक छ किनभने as you know there's a system that we have to follow. It's a structure. It's a like a living school, you know, just so in the Gomba I'm grateful because I was exposed to many things such as studies, Dharma study, classes, puja aruko study, all that I learned. And also I took some time also, not because I'm so attached to Gomba and I want a Gomba personally, but I wanted to contribute to the Gomba, Shechen Gomba and Shechen Nanari in Bhutan. So I did a 5-year kind of a management work to get experience and leadership skills and to also contribute back. I'm very content with that. And after that, of course, Shechen Gomba ra Shechen ko Nanariaru sape they had taken care of themselves by Shechen Ramja Rinpoche. So then I kind of came out of that situation. But also at the same time, as you know, in Gomba, just like a very big organization, there is a lot of, and as we say in English, there is no end to human greed. So ego trip, dharma politics, greed, selfishness, fakery, cunningness, all of that is there. And then money, power, fame, authority, all of that is there. And there's too much corruption and too much of contamination is there. And sometimes you get quite shocked thinking this is Dharma ko Gomba, manchi sabai eta auncha for Dharma Shiksha, for sanctuary, but yet Gomba ko bitar ko manchiharu yesto garcha, yesto manbata yesto cha, kina hola, you know, we wonder. Of course, if I say this, many people will be upset with me and be angry with me, but that's fine. I can accept anger and hatred, but that is the truth, you know. I've seen that for so many years in my lifetime. I'm not trying to talk bad and, you know, say bad things about the monastery that are not true. I'm just speaking the truth. And through seeing all of this in my eyes and observation, it just kind of made me feel like I want to practice the actual Dharma and actual Dharma path. So when I was, when I was kind of like removed from the Gomba, they asked me to leave because of many situation and disagreements. I took many years, and also that period of time, I was taking care of my late father. He was unwell with my brothers and sisters and my mother. And then I took time to practice Dharma, retreat, receive teaching. So it was a journey that was very hard, I would say. But it taught me such a priceless lesson and it inspired me to be a genuine human being and not to fall into those traps. It's very easy to fall into the traps of power, money, fame, authority, fakery. Yeah.
जस्तै हामी जस्तै पूजा गर्छौँ, डिटीजहरू भिजुअलाइज गर्छौँ, त्यही पनि त्यो कुरा हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ के कुरामा कमीको कारणले यो सबै कुरा भइरहेछ लाग्छ हजुरलाई?
You mean during puja or meditation? Yeah, no visualization.
Yeah, even that we lack the moral ethics. So yes. Why is the reason?
Yo chen ke bhancha, Rishav, it's a bit messy, but it's in a way like saying, I think people like to generalize a lot of things. So the generalization is what Gomba aru, Lama aru, Kembo aru, what they say is usually they say to the local people, Nepali people of course, are saying, तपाईहरु Dharma शिक्षा गर्नुपर्छ, Dharma meditation गर्नुपर्छ, practice गर्नुपर्छ, हामीको के भन्छ कल्चरहरु प्रिजर्भ गर्नुपर्छ. यस्तो भनेको टाइममा त it's very easy to say that. But I always say, are you the example of that? If you don't have the level and the depth and the weight of being of that example, you can't just tell people, do this, do that, do this. Then people are not stupid and blind. People will look at you and say, तपाईं चाहिँ यस्तो गर्दैन, तपाईं चाहिँ यस्तो follow गर्दैन, किन हामीहरू यस्तो order गर्नुपर्छ? Why are you telling us to do this? And we always say in Tibetan, if you are an alcoholic, don't ever point to someone else and say, don't drink alcohol. You're an alcoholic yourself. First, take care of yourself. Then, move on, So, it's a very generalization where Dharma, Puja, Rupchen, Lama dance, all of this is becoming a generalization tradition. But the in-depth practice, I would say nowadays, is getting very lesser and lesser. Of course, many people blame the modern day, but I don't blame just the modern age. I would also say it's also depending on individual people's choices. Do they choose to do the right way, right path, or do you choose to follow the wrong path? It's all in your hands. You're all in your hands. Don't blame someone else or something else as an excuse.
So, as you said, it's right, what is right and what is wrong. I was curious about this question. Like, sometimes my right is someone's wrong, and someone's wrong is my right. So, how to really find what is right and what is wrong?
I think important thing is, for example, like Rishav, if you say your right is someone wrong, your right will never be wrong for anyone else. If that right is the truth, actual, genuine truth, raw truth, as we say, integrity and dignity is far more priceless than anything else in this world. So just like that, if the right is truth, there's no going wrong on that. Some people like to say everything is not bad and good, right or wrong. Maybe for some people's view, but there are such things as doing bad, doing harmful, doing negative, and doing positive, and doing genuine. So there is a ethics and division of such element. I personally believe that very strongly. Yeah, and that's one thing I feel human beings should be driven by. Follow the right ethics, follow the right way. Yeah, not the wrong way.
So, talking about this, and how does karma judge whether an action is good or bad?
I like the American saying, what goes around comes around. I think that's very true. When people get carried away and they think in their mind, मेरो लाइफमा त के गर्ने सबै के भन्छ, it won't matter, say. But that's not true. Whatever you do in your life, whatever you think, you say, whatever motivation you have, intentions you have, it will replay back to you. Yeah, there's always the replay back. I like to call karma, it's like, I think in Nepali, I don't know if it's Nepali or Indian, there's this insect. I think the name for that is a bichu, yeah, scorpion.
Bichu.
I call it, in Nepali, is it called bichu?
Bichu, नेपालीमा पनि भन्छ. Bichi, नेपालीमा bichi भन्छ.
Bichi. Kina I call karma as bichi is because it has the tail with a stinger, with a venom. So even the insect looks like okay to touch, always it'll hit back with its tail in the venom. So just like that, when people feel like karma ta hundena, karma ta it doesn't even exist, they think like that. Oh no, it'll hit back to you. There's always that hitting back, coming back to you. So I feel like people should be quite careful, and I feel like karma is not just a religious or spiritual belief, but it's a mother nature ko ke bhancha rules and regulation to follow for all human beings and everyone. Yeah. With the conscious mind. of course,
Yeah. Conscious mind is very important then.
Exactly. Like even like when we see in the animals, like Khyentse Rishav, sometimes when we watch documentaries of animals, when one animal attacks another, the one who is attacking later on in their life, if it's a male or female, lion or tiger or bear, whatever they may be, their opponent will come back and attack them back. So there's always this vicious cycle is always there. What goes will come back. Just for human beings, of course.
That's interesting. Okay. So like you talked about anger and anxiety
Yes.
Before. You openly talk about emotions like anger, anxiety, and desire.
Yeah.
So why is it important for a teacher to experience this deeply?
For a teacher or a guruji or a master or Rinpoche, without experiencing the depth of human emotion in their own self, they will never know what it means to be suffering, to have pain, to be lost, to have depression, anxiety. Because having that, you understand how to deal with it, how to cope with it, how to come back to reality. Because when you have very deep anxiety, depression, you really feel like you are almost dying inside. Internally, you feel like you're dying. Then you come back to your own senses. So it's, I think, very important for gurus and masters and practitioners, in generally must experience all of this. Excuse me. It's like very easy to sit in their own respectable room comfortably and safely and say, oh, I pray for all hamro ke bhन्छ sentient being सबैले मन भित्र के भन्छ karuna and compassion गर्नुपर्छ. It's very easy to say that, very easy. But when you are in that depth of suffering and pain, then it's a different matter, different situation. So I am grateful for all the sufferings I've experienced in my life, because it has helped me to kind of understand many things in the depth. Yeah. And then when somebody comes to you and says, oh, I'm in great pain or suffering, then you don't just look at them and say, oh yeah, go and uta janus, garma basnus, do meditation. That doesn't work. Yeah. You have to sit down, let them talk, let them speak to you. Yeah. So I feel like it's very important.
I was about to ask that question. जस्तै कसैलाई के भन्छ त्यो डिजायरले छोयो. How can someone who is a practitioner accept natural desire without letting them take control over you?
Oh, ke bhन्छ Rishav, that's a very complex question, because it's a very big matter. Why I say this is because there, as you know, in desire department of desire, there are so many different desires. Desires for yourself, for opposite partner, man or woman or whatever it is, or for wealth, power, fame, money, politics, for greed. There are so many different levels. So it's a very tricky matter. I think desire needs to be dealt with by being honest to yourself. Yes, I have desire and attachment. I need to be mindful of it, because the more desire you have, the more harm it does. It's like we say, if you touch those plants that have a lot of spike, if you touch it and squeeze it, only thing that is damaging is your own hand and finger, and you are in pain, not the tree. So desire is like a tree with spikes, and you are like cactus. Yes, correct. And then you are squeezing it so tightly, saying, "Oh, this is so good. This is ultimate. This is happiness and joy and positive, whatever." Oh, this, you're telling that to yourself. You're fooling yourself, because the more you do this, it cuts through. And that happened to me, because in the past, when I was in the Gomba and being, like we say in Nepali, Autari Lama, no? Then, I got all of this, how to say, very high level treatment, VIP treatment, and meeting dignitaries, royal families of Bhutan, of course. And then getting police escort in Bhutan, all that. For me, I always felt like this is very uncomfortable for me. I appreciate the connections who I'm making nowadays through my previous Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, Pailako hamro Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, but this whole life of luxury and power and politics and fame and fake it in, whatever I was doing those days, it was always going to be somebody will film it or take picture and say, oh, so-and-so Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche Yangsi did this, so compassionate guru, whatever. Everything felt like a fake world, not an authentic world. So for me, I felt like this is absolutely not what I want. So slowly, I broke down. I removed all of this out of me. Because the genuine truth is I don't want to end up a person like that. So attached to all of this. I looked at my father, I looked at the lamas and gurujis who I've met, and they have no attachment to all of any of that. And that, when I look at it, I felt that is what I aspire. That is what I want to do. Because to do that, it really takes a big sacrifice. So that's what I really told myself,
At what age that clicked in your mind?
It happened to me when I was around 14. The first time it kind of clicked. Yeah. Then slowly, I pursued it. So I would say it's a very tricky matter, this situation, and desire. I was having desire with all of this. Now, through all what I went through, do I have desire for all? No, not really. But of course, I have to be honest. I have desire still, desire for drinking coffee, desire to eat meat, and sometimes desire to maybe have a comfortable, bed to sleep in. Sometimes when I see a beautiful girl on the street, I have desire thinking, oh, so beautiful, wish I can be with them. So I have that. I'm not proud of it, of course, but I am working on it. I have to be honest, I can't just lie by saying I am Buddha Dipankara and I don't have any of that. Of course, that would be a complete lie.
So how can that desire should that desire be controlled or should that be transformed?
I think if you control, I always like to say, if you control your desire, it's like putting a metal chain on a lion. You can't beat it. It's like a beast inside, yeah? Anytime it will react out. So don't control it. Tell yourself you have it. You be honest to yourself. And be honest to people of how you are and what you are inside. And I think it's so important that we are mindful of our desire. Don't control it and force it to be kept away, but just be aware, mindful, and always be honest. Through step by step, you will know through reasoning, that desire won't affect you fully later on. Of course, it takes time and take a lot of effort and a lot of dedication, of course. Yes.
It's just even when the desire comes, जस्तै desire आउँछ.
Yes.
त्यो पनि, is that linked with karma?
No, I don't think so. I don't think desire is linked with karma. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. So
I mean, you're right in one way, Rishav. I've heard people say, like, when couples meet, yeah, they always like to put this excuse by saying, oh, I think I met you before in my life. It is our karma. I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know about that. I think they should just be honest. I love you, you love me, can we be together, marry? Be that way. Then if it works out, good for you. If it doesn't work out, what to do? That's life. Just be practical. Don't put this romantic, lie by saying, oh, past lives we have met each other. This life we have met each other,
Yeah, my dakini,
yeah,
my soulmate.
I think it's a little bit rubbish, And there's some couples who like to say, oh, when we die now, I wish to meet you again in the next life. I mean, hallelujah for you, but who knows how do you have the control over it? Yeah. So I don't think desire is connected to karma. I don't think so. But if it is, then I don't know. But I think personally, no. But
Then-
maybe some other lamas and teachers would say yes and all that, yeah.
Then how you see reincarnation as then?
Reincarnation, I think, is like, for example, generally, I think, Rishav, we all reincarnate because, as you know, we human beings, when we die, we are always continuing in one way. Our body goes back to the natural state of the 5 elements, yeah, to the Mother Earth. So our body, in some way, when it disintegrates, it's naturally processed to continue for the nature itself, growth of nature and preservation of nature. Our mind, I feel like it does somewhat continue. We may not necessarily remember everything, but it does continue somehow, somewhere. Yeah. But I think, of course, we may not have choices. I think certain level of practitioners and yogis and high level mind practitioners, Manchiaru, they have certain capacity to choose when to be reborn, to serve the Dharma, to serve the people and sentient beings. Yeah, I think that happens. Yeah, but general people, I don't know. Yeah.
So when they do that, they bring their past.
I don't think they can bring their past totally, but I think they can like continue in this life in a more kind of authentic way. But I don't think they will bring their past. Personally, I don't feel that way. Yes.
I was always interested to know in the Nyingma lineage.
Yes.
There's a lot of Termas that is, taken out from different places. So what that is actually?
You're asking about the Nyingma lineage. Basically, Nyingma lineage, we call it the old Tantra lineage. We root that back to Guru Pema Sambhava. And so as you know, Rishav, in Guru Pema Sambhava, the Tantrayana, or Vajrayana, so to speak, there are many treasures that we believe Guru Rinpoche and the 25 disciples of Guru Rinpoche, including Yishitswaja Mendarawa, Guru Rinpoche precisely had placed these special scrolls, Dakini scrolls, and special object in many places in Tibet, Nepal, India, Bhutan, all of these places that he has visited and blessed. The reason to put these items in these special places is for the future great practitioners and tantric yogis and yoginis and treasure revealers, the Tirthans, to reveal it and to continue the teachings of the Dakini and Guru Rinpoche, and for the benefit of the practitioners, for all of us. Yeah. So that is what we emphasize on a lot. But I also believe that Nyingma lineage, Nyingma, the Tantra, we can also say that Nyingma Tantra is also as old as what they used to practice in India, in ancient Khmer, even all the way to Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Indonesia, the ancient Tantra, and of course Nepal, obviously. Yeah, as you know, in the past, many people don't like to hear this because it's sensitive. There was no such thing as a Hinduism kind of spirituality. It was called Buddhism and Tantra, Tantrayana. Even like for Shiva, we as a Buddhist, we refer him as Mahadev, not Shiva. Because we say Shiva is considered like more of the worldly god. But Mahadev is considered as the enlightened being, So for Buddhist or Tantric practitioners, we refer him as Mahadev. He's also considered a very important Tantric deity, enlightened deity, We say he's the emanation of Lokeshwara. Yeah. So, and I strongly feel that in the Nyingma lineage, to have all of these sacred objects, as we refer them as Tir, sacred items that have been buried and then now revealed. This is importance because the continuity of the teaching of the Samaya and the blessing is still kind of goes on. Very proper, very fresh. Yeah. Untouched and uncontaminated by anything else. Yeah. That is the reason. Of course, then, as you know, Rishav, in Nepal is really like almost the birthplace, I could say. Not exactly birthplace, but like birthplace meaning Guru Rinpoche has been here, lived here, blessed, taught, kept so many wonderful scrolls, even took 2 of his consort from 5, the 5 wisdom consorts he have, Dakinis. He took 2 from Nepal, Pabung Kalasedi, Shakchen Deva, so Shakchen Devi, sorry. So, it's Nepal, I would say, it's really one of the highlight nation, blessed land, yeah. And of course, we have Tibet, and we have Bhutan, also blessed by Guru Rinpoche, and also kept so many sacred objects in the caves, in the rocks and mountains to be revealed, and many footprints, many scriptures, and so forth. Yeah.
Will they be revealed in this generation? What do you think?
I don't know. I can't say. Yeah. I believe that it will be revealed on the right timing. Yeah. But when and how, I'm not so sure. Yeah.
So I want to go back to the desires and all.
Yes.
I have seen a video where you said the true demon is not an external spirit.
Yes.
It's within you. It's your dark and what you said, dark side of you. So I just want to know more about this.
Yes. So Rishav, in Hindi or Nepali, we always have this terminology, dushman, yeah, we say. And when people say dushman, they always like to point their finger at other side saying, that's dushman. I always say, no, that's not dushman. Dushman is here. Right inside. Anytime it can be activated. Until this day, for how many centuries in this dunya, of our human dunya, how many centuries that human beings have played in a role to kill each other, slaughter, kill, rape, abuse, exploit so much, The whole Mother Earth has been completely drenched in human blood, human being can be that scary, that ruthless. And I feel like, don't we realize by now that we are our own problem? Our emotion, untamed emotion, is so dangerous. Still to this day, I've heard Tibetan people, Sherpa people, our Nepali people, like that, superstitious people say, oh, ke bhancha, kala jadoo, ekdam big problem, and bhutharu is big problem. I'm thinking, please have some brain. The world is in chaos because of one problem of human mind. Not kala jadoo, not demons. You don't see demons with horns and fangs fighting war. You see actually human beings who look like us, who think like us, who eat like us, shooting, bombing, and killing each other. No problem. They can kill children and women and elderly. They have no regrets. It's not the demons who did that. It's us doing it. Sometimes I find it so fine, so funny. Like in the Hindu religion or Muslim religion, Christianity, everyone has a terminology for it. I think in the Muslim they call it jinn. In Christianity, of course, and Catholicism they call it Satan or Lucifer, the devil and the demon. And then we call it like shaitan and like that. No, I'm thinking, in one way, I feel like these devils or demons, we should be grateful for them. Why? Because at least they are honest. They're like, yeah, I'm desire, I'm ego, I'm good. Yeah, I'm a devil. I'm not hiding. Yeah, I'm just being myself. I think the devils are laughing at us, saying, you are much horrible than us. You pretend. You are like a wolf, wearing a sheepskin. And we are not. So I'm thinking, oh, thanks to you, we can be better.
Mm-hmm.
We can look at you and say, okay, I don't want to be that, rather than looking at them and condemning them, you know. So I always say we need the shaitans to learn a lesson. Don't become a shaitan inside. Human being to become a shaitan, it doesn't take anything. It just takes a few minutes and finish. I always tell people, don't look at the news and say, oh my God. No, look at yourself. You could do that one day. You see a murder case, don't look at it and say, how many people? No, you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? One day you go off and then you do something. So I said, always look at all of this as a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Human beings are the condemnation for human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful, be mindful, always do the right thing. And I also believe one thing, that for human beings, the ones who suffer the most, go through the most hideous difficulty, life situation and suffering, turn out to be the best human beings, the most kindest, most humble people. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. So, how can they control that demons within them then?
I think, Rishav, it's impossible to control the demon, but what we can do is just be honest. Be honest to yourself. Be clear. Be transparent. Be transparent to yourself. You know, yeah.
So, what I felt once was life is not always peaceful, even in a spiritual path. So, you've gone through a very difficult phase in life once. During your lowest moment, how did you stay strong and grounded?
Well, when I was going through the most difficult time in my life, I don't want to go in detail because it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
I don't want to name anyone, but there was really to the point where I thought I was almost I'm almost dead or something, because I wasn't upset and hurt and angry because I was thinking, oh, people are not good to me. People are so horrible. People are not respecting. Not at all. The one thing that shocked me so much is that I'm thinking, wow, human beings can be that cruel and nasty and fake. They know what is innocent. They know who I am. They know my character. They know my innocence. But yet they still want to, just because it serves their egotistical and their, how to say, messed up mind and their greed, they want to put all the false blames and horrible mental torture on me. That shocked me. That you are so-called Buddhist, you tell other people to be good like that, but you yourself, you're like this. That shocked me. That really kind of shocked me. That shocking mind made me feel like, wow, this is scary. This is absolutely scary. This is very scary, I thought. And made me feel very deeply sad and thinking, wow, what to do? So those days when I was going through a very hard time, there are a few times I thought, I wish I could sleep and never wake up. If people hate me that much and people think I'm such a horrible human being, a womanizer, a rapist, and fake Buddhist, Lama, whatever, I thought, okay, the best thing is I sleep and never wake up. And maybe someone better can take my place. But then yet I told myself, I know my innocence. I'm not going to fight for it. I'm not going to defend myself. But truth is, nobody can avoid the truth. The truth can never be hidden. It will show itself. So you see, I'm feeling very content in my heart and proud, because not in the egotistical way, but in a truthful way, because I have no hatred. I don't hate and angry to the people who did bad to me. I know who did all the wrong things to me. I see them also in Nepal. I see them in the social media, but I don't hate them. I just look at them and thinking like, wow, Babri, you are like that, yeah. You can be that nasty.
At the particular moment when you felt very low, did you feel that you had a dushman at that time?
I never thought I had a dushman.
Oh.
For me, dushman doesn't exist in me.
Mm.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is, only dushman for me is if the toilet is very bad and the bad coffee, and it's dushman. I will make sure the person really gets my torture. Yeah. I'm not going to beat the person. Just going to complain, say, please get the toilet better, you know. Please make sure coffee is good. But other than that, no, you're right, actually. I did ask myself, you know, I really did ask myself when I was going through such a horrible time. I really thought, do I hate these people? Are they my enemy? No. I really don't hate them. I cannot hate them. And some of them, I met them, and when they come to me for like blessing or hello, and I take them in, I hug them, and I say, how are you doing? How's your family? I said, look, I don't hate you, you know. I really say it. And then it brings tear in my eye, thinking, oh, you know, my father used to always tell me, never have hatred, grudge, and ego. He always used to tell me this. And I thought, okay, I will follow your advice, no matter what. And in order to be a genuine human being, if I hate and say you're my dushman just because you're bad to me, then it's very ridiculous. Ridiculous, you know. I mean, it's not nice to say, but sometimes I get a bit angry, like when I travel somewhere else, you know, like India or maybe Thailand or Burma or Sri Lanka, and I come back to Nepal. And as you know how it is for every Nepali citizen, when you have your Nepali passport and you give it to the immigration, then nothing good they have to say to you. Yeah, there's no like, oh, welcome back to your country. Like, ke gane, kam gane, paisa chahiन्छ, ke ho yesto. They're always something irritating. That really angers me. I one time told the immigration officer, I said, I'm a Nepali manchi, तपाईँ Nepali manchi, म Nepali manchi, अलिकति positive भन्नुस् न, के हो यस्तो, you know. I said, what did I do did I take money from you or what, you know? And that sometimes irritates me a bit, you know. And sometimes, like, when I go in a taxi, I don't have a car, so I go in a taxi here traveling around in Kathmandu. And sometimes they're traffic police, yeah. And I don't blame them, but just because they want to take money for their pocket, unnecessarily they squeeze you. And when they see I'm a lama, hey, lama, yesto honey, you know, then this sometimes irritates me a bit. But then I'm like, okay, it's fine. Doesn't matter. I need the irritation because that's the only way that I can learn how to be, you know, learn how to have no anger and this irritable, moody emotions. You know, you need that to deal with it. Yeah. If you don't have any of that, then you cannot deal with that at all. Yeah.
So that irritation comes and goes.
Yeah, it comes and then okay. Fine, no problem.
You have always emphasized on being, humble and willingness to say sorry. So my question was, what was the hardest approach you have ever made, and what did you learn from it?
For me, the hardest apologies is saying sorry to people who I have never done wrong. Because I have to force myself to say sorry to people who I have not been wrong, but they are wrong. But I can't say that they are wrong because they will never accept it because their ego and pride is too big, you know. For me, I just learned a lesson like not every human being is genuine. So you have to do your best. And I like the English saying, bite your tongue and take the blame because you will never lose at the moment. That's true. You're never losing. Yes, that moment is uncomfortable, but it's okay. It's fine. And I think for me, saying sorry is not hard because I really feel it in my heart. You know, people sometimes they look at me, oh, you easily say sorry. I'm sure it's just because you just care about your reputation. I don't care about my reputation. I really saying sorry because I feel it in my heart. I feel very bad. You know, I feel very guilty. You know, I mean, it's not really nice to say this, but even to people who like, on the street you meet like you accidentally hit them or whatever, you oh, I'm so sorry, for what I've done, like I tell you one funny story, Rishabh. You remember a couple of years ago there was this big incident happened in Nepal where one lama with this Nepali Hironi, what's her name?
Yeah, it was in a movie.
Miruna Magar.
Yeah.
That case, where he slapped her butt in all this issue. After that incident, as you know, in Nepal, something very awkward happened to all of us lamas, because when we go to the Bauta Kora, how many women are there and how many Nepali girls are there busy making TikTok video? So when we are busy walking, if you accidentally hit, like, they look at you with their big eye, like, okay, gotta go, Then I got so scared. I thought, I have a new idea. When I'm walking in the crowd, if there's many women, I just put my hands up like this. So if my hands are up, I'm not doing anything, I'm innocent. So I did that. So many people are like, what are you doing? Are you crazy or what? And I say, no, this is for my own safety, I have to put up, So you see, my point is, in a very difficult, tricky time in this world of our time, I feel like it is a jewel that if you can manage to be a genuine human being, it's a real jewel. I've seen so many genuine people. I'm very, very lucky to see them. I'm very lucky. And even like sometimes, I'll be very honest, like I have had some failed relationships in my life in the past. I've not been such a good boyfriend. So even in my failed relationships, I've always taken the blame. I've never said, oh, it's your fault. I'm Rinpoche, I'm perfect. You're wrong. No, I am wrong. You are right. You have taught me a lesson. I love you, but I'm wrong. I've taken that. And I believe one thing. My father used to say, a man being a real man should respect a woman, appreciate a woman, adore a woman, and always make sure you see your mistake. You take your mistake. You take your blame. If she is wrong or right, that is up to her to know, her to realize, her to recognize, and her to work with, not you to tell her. You focus on your mind. Work on that. That was such a priceless advice for me to be a good human being in my life. My father used to say, you're a human. You haven't taken monk vows. You're not a bhikshu or whatever, So you may have relationship. You may fall in love. That time, remember this. So it's very true what he said, It's very true. I'm a human being after all, I know nowadays when people here they criticize me, say, oh, you're Rinpoche, you're Avatari Guru, but you like a woman. What? Like, I'm not an alien. I'm a human. It is a natural, thing for me to be attracted and to fall in love with someone. Is it so big? Is it such a big mistake? Is it a crime? No, of course not. Yeah.
So, like we talked a lot about hatred, jealousy, anxiety, demons.
Yes.
So, I just wanted to ask, like, why is spirituality needed? For me, as I understood that spirituality is an inner journey. And to, control this or like see these desires and all.
Yes.
So am I just missing something, or what exactly is spirituality?
Yes, Rishabh, you're not missing anything. You're right. The main thing is, you see, spirituality basically means go in yourself, go inside your mind. In your mind, all the boundless quality is already there. Kindness, wisdom, all of that is there. All of it is there. I think wisdom is jhana, isn't it? Jhana. So all of that is within our mind, heart. Is that we have to go in, use our deep wisdom to utilize, recognize, and keep that up. increase that, deepen ourselves. That's why it's important for us to have spirituality. If we understand spirituality, when you are angry, just shut up and sit in the corner and do meditation. That's not going to work. Work on yourself. Look into it. Take care of it from the roots. Don't just take care of it on the surface level. Take care of it from the roots. Transform it. Change it. Transform anger and hatred to compassion and patience. Transform desire into appreciation, detachment. Transform ignorance and blindness into wisdom and clarity. You can do it. Anybody can do it. If you put the right amount of effort and take the right advices, follow the advices from your Guruji, of course, definitely, you can do it.
Why is Guru so important in Vajrayana?
Guru is everything to us. Yeah. Guru themselves, it can be a female guru, male guru, they themselves are the example of a genuine human being and a genuine dedicated Dharma practitioner. But humble, humility, kind, pure, and just there for you, always available for everyone. And they're not great because they're good to you. No, they're great because they're good to everyone equally. And their whole life is dedicated to that. And I think that is such a precious moment. And without sheep, without a shepherd, if we say that, we need a shepherd for us to guide us. And to Guru to make us understand our inner Guru. Our inner Guru is, as I was mentioning to you previously, is our mind. And it's very precious. And this is a story I want to share, is that I hope it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, as you know, Rishav, for our Tibetan lamas and Rinpoches in our world, we are always focused on our Rinpoches and masters, and we have great ones also, great ones. In my life, I have met some such authentic ones. I'm so grateful. Most of them have passed away, but some of them are still alive, including my late father, Tsikichona Rinpoche. Not because he was my father, but he was a father figure to everyone, and he was good to every person in this, whoever came to him. So, you see, my father used to always have this great connection and he liked the Babas, the Indian and Nepali Babas and Sadhus and that. He always used to tell me, never judge them. They can be fake one, but they can be authentic one. Never judge them. Always respect them. So I also had a very big fascination with Babas and Sadhus. But coming from a background of Tibetan, we always used to have this, and I'm sure many Nepalese also and Indian people have this background. When we see Babas and Sadhus, we have this kind of a mistaken, wrong view. Oh, these people are crazy. They do kala jadoo and they take ganja, eat human meat. No good, we should stay away. Who knows what can happen? I had couple of years ago, I had a chance accidentally to meet one Baba in Pashupati. He had now gone into Mahasamadhi, passed away. When I met him, he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was 112 years old by age. And his name was Guru Taginath. He came from the tradition of Nath Sampradaya and Agori tradition. And he only spoke Hindi. So I couldn't really communicate with him much. But for me, what was most important is the presence. His presence was so pure, honest, very dignified, very pure. And after he passed away, I met his, spiritual brother, and he's still alive. His name is Guru Ishanath, Maharaj Guru Ishanath. And I had a great opportunity to meet him again and again, speak to him. He's very humble, strict in his practice, very dedicated, and I would say a jewel of a human being. So humble, anybody can go see him, loving, kind, very dedicated in his practice. And he made it very clear to me. He said, we are not Hindus, we are Buddhists ourselves. And I saw the way how he practiced in his lineage, in his tradition, very strict, very secret, but strict and proper. And I thought, this must be exactly how the 84 Mahasiddhas of India has practiced, our great yogis and yoginis in Tibet has practiced, and how the great masters in the past did exactly like that. Very secret, proper, and following very dedicatedly. And when I looked at him, I thought, he stays in such a small little dirty room. People come and see him. He cooks himself. He makes food for people and like that. Always very humble, always smiling, never changing. I thought, wow, this is what I want to be. Pure, humble, dedicated as a human and into the spiritual practice. Because when I learned through him, I realized their practice is so more authentic compared to our Tibetan. We, I think, in one way, a little bit contaminated. I look at Tibetan lamas nowadays, and immediately you see luxurious bungalow house, 4 or 5 attendant and bodyguard, a secretary, and wife and children, and then you even hardly get to see the lamas that often. Very expensive car, only traveling in first class, staying in 5-star hotel. Maybe that is good for them, but that's not the authentic way. When I look at Guru Ishanathji, when I looked at him, I thought, I don't see any luxury over here, no materialism over here, no power, no name, nothing. Yet he's dedicated to help so many people in whatever way possible, always practicing himself, always meditating, so dedicated, determined. I thought, this is the real way. That is the real way, not the way how I saw in my lifetime from the Tibetan background. So I feel like these things really inspired me, and I felt like in this time and age, people can be old, people can be young, it doesn't matter. Age doesn't make any difference. Is that choose the right way. Choose the right way. Trust your heart. Trust the purity in your heart. Always trust that.
हामी यस्तै अन्त्यतिर आएको छौँ र जाँदा जाँदै हजुरलाई म एउटा युथको लागि एउटा मेसेज र फर समवन who feels broken or thinks they have made too many mistakes, what would you say to them?
I think I'm nobody to speak to the youth. I would say I was born in the generation where I like to always say, for me, I felt like it was such a beautiful generation for me, because for me, being born in Nepal I was born 1993. So that time I still remember underdeveloped country like Nepal, and still people were listening to old the 1960s and 70s, 80s ko songharu from Nepal, from India. And then I remember, still seeing a lot of tempos and rickshaws, and the whole community, like no modernization. And people were all okay with what they had. That was a beauty I saw when I was growing up. And nowadays I don't see that much. So I was born in an age where the olden day time, paila ko, like we like to say, paila ko zamana, purano zamana, no? Purano zamana was still there, but slowly finishing, and modernization was coming, but not too fast. So it was such a sweet era, I must say, for me. And I would say that for the youth, I don't know what to say much, because I wouldn't know what you're feeling, what you're going through. But the only thing I want to say is, if you're really going through hardship and pain and suffering, it's very easy for anyone to say, oh, don't be depressed, everything will be fine. Because for you, you will feel like everything is not going to be fine. you will either use drugs and alcohol and all kinds of things like that to take off the edge or the pain and suffering, or either you want to really like commit suicide, or you want to escape or run, whatever. The only thing I want to say is do whatever you want to do. I'm nobody to tell you and dictate what you want to do, but only thing I want to tell you is it is never too late. Never too late. You can go through it. You can go through it. It can be very painful, but you have to try, at least. You are born as a human being. Who knows how many chances you will get to be born as a human being? It's a precious thing. Look at how many people in the world, how many children are born. How many of them have such a difficult life? No food, suffering. They're born in the wartime. They're born with such difficult diseases and crippling diseases. You're not having those problems. You're having a emotional, mental difficulty, circumstances difficulty, relationship difficulty. So please don't just give up easily. Look at your forefathers. They went through hell of a life, but they did not let that affect them too much. Maybe it made them very grumpy, angry, frustrated, always scolding, always shouting, but they're living. They live because they wanted you to be happy. They did everything for you, sacrificed everything for you. And now you just want to give it up for these reasons? Please, no. There's always going to be a good person in your life who will help you. Either a good friend or someone you trust, or maybe a stranger who you meet. There's always going to be a solution for that. Just tell yourself one thing. The back of your mind, it's never too late. Nothing is too late. And when you do something harmful to yourself, it is a damage for you and is a forever damage. You can't get it over. And the bigger problem is you are also leading so many people to look at you and say, oh, if she does it, if he does it, I also will do it. When I'm sad and depressed, I'm going to do just like my friend. So you want to be the example? Of course not. So please tell that to yourself. You will go through such pain and hardship, but pain and hardship makes us stronger, deeper, better, and purer. Because we have gone through it. And we know how it is. And we will never want anyone else to ever experience such. And this is a very precious moment. It's easy to say that, but I really mean it from my heart. Yeah.
This message is so beautiful that the youth will definitely follow it. अनि आज हजुरसँग कुरा गर्दाखेरि एकदमै कृतज्ञ फिल भएको छ मलाई. I'm feeling very happy to bring you on the podcast and talk with you. And you have shared so many insightful informations and different types of knowledges. So thank you again for coming to the podcast.
Thank you so much for giving me the chance and opportunity.
It's our pleasure. So to listen more insightful videos like this, do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.